All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to the newest episode of Primetime Media Podcast. All right. Thank you guys. I am your host, D'Angelo Lopez. To my left, I got Isaiah Burgess.
Yo.
I got Austin Pendleton right here.
Welcome.
And then we got Will Hunter right in front of me.
Hello, Governor.
All right. And this day we have a packed show talking NFL content right now. We're talking draft winners, draft losers, surprising picks, slides, everything like that. How's everybody feeling? Everybody feeling good?
I feel great.
Honestly, I feel like the draft overall was pretty exciting. I tried to tune in on TV.
It was a weird one. It was exciting.
It was weird. My biggest takeaway was that there was no consensus board. There was a lot of people I thought would go higher that fell. There was a lot of people I thought would go late that went early. Overall, it was still interesting, though, to be honest. I'm satisfied with how the Bears went, but we can get into that in a minute. I think we just kick it off with overall just draft winners. I would have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs as probably my first winner. Overall, I was definitely surprised with the Mansour Delane pick, trading up at that too.
For sure.
I just felt like they probably could have still got him there. Now, who knows?
I think they could have got him.
They had pick 9. Who knows? They could have got some intel that, Delane or that Mansour Delane was going to go somewhere else. But overall, that wasn't really why I say they had they were winners. That's a good part of it. But Peter Woods, I think a big interesting comp for him is Chris Jones, just a versatile chess piece, kind of tweener. Where even though at Clemson they put him as a nose tackle, made him gain a lot of weight, and it wasn't the best, but the year before he kind of played every position on the defensive line, so that kind of is Chris Jones to a T. Is the perfect person to kind of learn from. They also got R. Mason Thomas, which I know was a draft cush by Austin. Overall, I just think they just had a great reload of defensive talent. They brought some guys in later on as well, but overall, I'm satisfied with what they did. And I'll kick it to Austin. I know you had some opinions about R. Mason Thomas and everything like that. If you wanted to go ahead and just kick it off, or if you had any other team you wanted to get into.
Piggybacking off of the Chiefs. R. Mason Thomas is probably the biggest reason why I'd say their draft is a win. Delane's still a risky pick. I mean, he could end up being a Pro Bowler. He could also end up being a bust. That's kind of how the corners are. You go for positional value, but sometimes these draft classes are thin at this position and end up having sleepers get picked before the guys that end up busting. After, my fault.
Yeah. Isaiah, give any other draft winners or losers that you had.
So I actually have the Cowboys as a win. Trading up to get Caleb Downs at 11, which in my opinion is an absolute steal.
Cowboys full draft. I need to see.
I think Caleb Downs could be the best player in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very sophisticated football
I think
player.
in our practice podcast we said the same thing.
He's probably the safest pick of the draft.
Oh, absolutely.
Like just looking at it right now, imagine we're all wrong. But I mean, like, if we're all wrong, then the whole world's wrong.
Yeah.
This isn't like a popular.
I think the only thing that stops
this
him
is
from
a popular
being
idea.
the number one player in the draft is injuries. I overall just
see that.
I was more so surprised that the Giants didn't pick him at 10.
At 10.
Yeah, they went Francis Maui Noah. I understand you want to invest into Jackson Dart and overall just improving the offense, protect him, obviously, but
They got Barham.
I was about to say I wanted to go back to the Cowboys draft. I feel
got
like
Barham
and Malachi Lawrence. Right? I feel like we're both two dudes.
I
was just saying, I was
I
surprised.
really didn't watch too much of Malachi Lawrence.
They're both
at
just
all.
like,
I don't
freak athletes, high ceiling type of players.
Well, no, I watched a ton of I watched Barham before his senior tape, which is probably what you saw a lot of. Barham's always been
the Cowboys definitely had a great draft.
Wait, they got Devin Moore too.
Yeah.
That is a good LT Overton. Wait, LT Overton in the 4th.
Yeah, so a lot of people slipped like that. To go to Caleb Downs more so is, I was just surprised that he went to the Cowboys.
They haven't had a player in the secondary who could be a true leader and just intelligent football player guiding the defense back there in a minute. And I feel like that's the perfect guy. He's one of the most like intellectual, like instinctive football players that I've watched defensively, especially on tape in a while. Like,
Yeah.
the dude's been like that since he was a freshman. So it's like,
I think, the funniest part of it all is, I don't know if anybody noticed, maybe seen the clips, but Bleacher Report was doing a live stream, and they had Malik Neighbors on there, and the whole time he's like expecting the Giants to pick Caleb Downs, and he's like, they're going to go Downs, I want Downs, da-da-da. And
then
obviously
when
he
Downs got picked to the Cowboys.
he goes to the Cowboys, and he's visibly upset. And I think it's just good content. It's funny overall. But he was talking about how, as a true freshman at Alabama, he was actively calling out Malik Neighbors' routes before they fully all got set. Like, he would get set, and Downs would be actively calling out his route before the play starts. And that's just a level of intelligence that's, absolutely game-changing. Yeah, he started as a true freshman on Nick Saban's defense. Ultimate level of just skill and competitiveness. That was a great pick. Absolute steal. Potentially with the 11th pick, obviously getting Malachi Lawrence later on too.
Well, you got to think the Cowboys were probably the worst defense in the league last year. And then they pick up their, I believe it was 5 of their 6 first picks were all defense. So I think they got 2 edges. Yep, they got Malachi Lawrence. Then they got Barham. You get Caleb Downs. Pick up Devin Moore from Florida. And then you get Overton. Those are solid picks.
Yeah.
And then you get Drew Shelton on the offensive tackle. And then they picked up Anthony Smith from East Carolina. But
Shout out to Anthony Smith, by the way. I got to see him play because my sister's boyfriend plays for ECU. And Anthony Smith is nice. Big body, white guy, receiver. He's got potential. I'm not going to lie. He's got potential. I'm excited for him. Anybody have another
I was going to say, I think the
go
best
for?
draft, we haven't talked about it, but I think the best draft overall is Cleveland Browns, bro. Spencer Fano, big fan of that consensus top 3 tackle in this draft. Right after that, for another first-round pick, Casey Concepcion. Right after that, Denzel Boston, 2 receivers who a lot of people had in their top 32 big board. A lot of people had Denzel Boston above Casey Concepcion.
I did.
And I don't even think that's the best value pick. I think Justin Jefferson, linebacker, was their best value pick. They
that was
got
a
him
good pickup for sure.
For sure, they got him in the 5th round. I think that's a dude for them who brings speed, juice to that defense, sideline to sideline capabilities, fast as hell, and he's a smart player.
Yeah, he has upside. Back-to-back drafts where I thought the Browns brought in great talent. They obviously had Judkins, Harold Fannin, and
They're obviously building around their unstable quarterback situation, making it very comfortable for whether that's Shedeur going into his 2nd year or whether that's Deshaun Watson coming back off of that double Achilles injury, double Achilles tear.
Watch Taylor Green also. He could potentially, if he makes the team in camp, that's a guy, give him a couple years to develop, but he could potentially, who knows with that, but
High
quarterback
upside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His measurements were by far the best out of any quarterback in the combine, and all of his measurements, the closest comp to him was Megatron. So I know I think he went on Gruden's show and basically said, "I'm not going to be a receiver."
I was actually watching that this morning, his breakdown or his
Yeah.
where they take him on the field, do their little run through, and they also do like film studies or whatever.
He said he didn't want to be a receiver, but if you want to buy in and make money in the NFL and potentially have a
He
long
might go
career,
receiver.
it might be the smart option, bro. I don't know.
I don't hate it. We'll definitely have to see how he does.
It's hard. There's a lot of minutia and finesse that comes through years
Absolutely.
of training at the position.
receiver
That makes
position.
it difficult to just transfer. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. He could be
But
good.
we've seen it before. What was it? Edelman.
I was about to say that's
was,
the only person I can think of is Julian Edelman, but
No, there's been a couple.
And Travis
sure,
Kelce
but
was a
like-
quarterback at first, and now he's a tight end.
in college, Well, he wasn't like early on in college. He already transferred at Cincinnati. He transferred to tight end at Cincinnati. So it was
I think
a little
there's
different.
definitely been more than just one. There's been some notable names. I gotta think.
I mean,
of it.
Felipe Franks transferred from tight end to quarterback and quarterback to tight end. Like
Overall, though, I was surprised they picked Concepcion. I know he was definitely. What I noticed this year is teams valued the speed and explosive receivers over maybe the bigger, consistent guys, and then they also valued big corners over the smaller guys that were probably better as well. Like Keontae Scott fell versus like Takario Davis was a high draft, higher than that also. These are just different models. Like I said, this draft was very weird. So overall,
speaking
the Browns
of
had a
bigger
good draft.
corners, how the hell did Jamad McCoy? I understand his injury, but I still don't understand how he fell to the Raiders. Bro.
That's the main reason right there.
It's
I mean,
his
it's
injury.
not his tape at all. I think he's one of the
shit,
better
he's-
man corners in college football.
He's one of those.
Easily.
He's one of those dudes where
Top five.
if you draft
Yeah.
him second round, he has to sit his rookie year. Comes back, he's still an automatic addition to your team. Coming off.
I mean,
that
he's
injury
still
to year
young
two.
too. He's younger than Colton Hood.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the Raiders had an excellent draft, and I feel like
Yeah.
their defense is looking good for the future. Their organization is definitely pointing in a different direction.
That's
I've
probably
definitely
right.
got two teams that I think went completely under the radar.
Go
Before
ahead.
we keep with the Raiders real quick, like I said, I think they had a great draft too. Obviously, you pick up your franchise quarterback.
I think it's
Which-
solid.
Yeah, people aren't going to really talk about that because we've been talking. Everybody
We all
knew
knew.
Mendoza was
Yeah.
going to go number one for months now. But they got Traden Stukes, which was one of my guys on
So
the
he
practice.
was a first round pick for a lot of people. So
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't think he would be in the first round because he was an older guy. Like, he had some injuries, COVID also. So he had extra years of eligibility. But that on top of the fact that they got Jermon McCoy with the first pick of the third round, everything I've seen is that he would potentially need another surgery. So maybe he's not here for his rookie year. But anyways, like a flyer on that in the third round, that's probably better than another corner you take in the third round. And
they tripled
potentially
down
not
on
play.
corners this draft, and I like it. Like it Stukes.
Well, it was a solid quarterback
Stukes,
class. for
McCoy,
being
and
first.
Massis. They were all good players, and I feel like that transforms that secondary and brings in for them almost 3 immediate starters because of how bad that secondary was last year.
They also got Mike Washington in, I think, the fourth round. So him and Genty are going to be a nasty 1-2 combo. They already showed with what I can't think of his name right now, the new head coach, that they want a running back committee. So we saw with K9 and Charbonnet, they'd have a 1-2 punch, but now
Sonic and Knuckles.
yeah, now Mike Washington has way more juice than Charbonnet does, so you have a nice 1-2 combo. It's gonna make Mendoza's
Nice
life a
young
lot
1-2
easier.
combo.
Exactly, it's gonna make his life a lot easier.
Yeah, Clint Kubiak.
Clint Kubiak, that's what it was. I couldn't
coming
think
from
of
that
it.
Seattle offensive system, run game is very important and prioritized.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah, overall that was pretty good. Anybody have another one real quic? I know draft
I've got-
winners.
Yeah, too.
the Jets, bro.
I think the Jets had a super. That's exactly what I was about to talk about. I've got them and one other team. I don't think they struck gold with their first pick.
No.
David Bailey.
I don't hate
Not
it.
to say he's not going to be.
We'll
a star
agree to
for sure.
disagree on David Bailey. I love David Bailey.
He's
Okay,
definitely he's definitely a riskier pick.
Yeah.
A lot of the tackles he's playing in the Big 12 are literally cones compared to what he's going to see in the NFL.
Yeah.
And his tape was dominant for sure, but like if you watched more college football, you'd realize like the level of competition he's playing against versus the Big 10 and SEC guys,
SEC.
it's a big difference. It's a big difference. Like these two guys know that like in the Big 10 and SEC, you're playing against a
top of the
future
top.
NFL starter every single Saturday.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it is in those two conferences.
It doesn't matter what team you're playing.
So I mean I think David Bailey, what I've seen of him is fantastic. Can he do it in the NFL?
We'll see.
I want to see it first. Anyway, after that,
Edge
I think they
especially-
just had hit after hit
yeah,
after hit.
it was beautiful.
Sadiq, Omar Cooper, D'Angelo Pond. So basically getting the two Indiana skill guys.
Beautiful.
One on both sides of the football. Daryl Jackson, the D tackle for Florida State. Don't care about that one as much. Klubnik in the 4th round is not horrible value.
I
Because
love
if
that
he's
pick.
if Klubnik is like a Carson Beck, like you said earlier, he ends up being a career-long backup in the 4th round. Is that the biggest loss in the world?
No.
But then they also get Inez Cooper in the 6th and VJ Payne in the 7th. That's closing off your last 2 rounds really strong.
Really solid.
Obviously, I'm big on Inez. I'm a little biased. I'm a Miami fan.
Yeah.
But VJ Payne was a safety that I actually talked about.
Yeah.
He's tall. It's hard to get the ball over him. He could play in a deep 3rd or in the box. Doesn't really matter. I think the Jets had a super good draft.
I
And the
think their
next team-
conversation, real quick, before we move on to past the Jets, is I think they drafted Davy Bailey more so because I think he had a safer floor than Arvell Reese, and Aaron Glenn's job
Most
is on the
definitely.
line.
Most definitely.
So I think they just more so picked it because who can
was a
come
good
in
fit.
and be good immediately versus might need years of development, and Aaron Glenn doesn't really have that runway.
He's got size, speed, versatility, and experience. So it's like those are 4 things that will allow him to immediately come into the league and be successful if they scheme around him and his skill set, which they will.
Yeah, I like I said, more so for me, I get it. His job isn't on the line. It's kind of a weird dynamic where do you give a guy runway, like a coach runway, to be bad potentially to turn it around, or if it just shows nothing quickly, do you fire him, pretty quickly? Also, like Dan Campbell was
think you
losing
need
bad at first, so now all of a sudden it's the same coaching tree you're coming from. Do you want to give him multiple years of potentially being ass? And it's also a bad
him step it
philosophy, in my opinion, to just draft the safer guy. I think you always go with the BPA.
And Aaron Glenn's perspective for this season, like he has to go with the guy who's going to be able to, who he thinks will be able to come in and consistently every Sunday perform at a level that's like professional. Arvell Reese he still has to figure out his position within the league. Where
he does.
Where he's
We
gonna
don't even
play.
know where he's gonna be
So
at
it's
that-
like where he's going to be comfortable and good at. So,
But one thing I will say of just how talented he is and how much of an athletic freak he is, I think regardless of where he ends up, he's going to eventually be an impact player. Maybe more of a project, like you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think in the long haul, he should still have a good
He should be
career.
solid.
I actually thought the Saints had a really underrated draft.
yeah, I
I
don't want
agree.
to.
They got my guy.
They took
They
Tyson
did.
at 1.
Let's go.
Then they got the big D tackle, Christian Miller, from
I wanted
Georgia
Falcons to
in the
grab him.
2nd round. They got Delp in the 3rd round, which Delp, in the
Delp,
3rd
I'm not
round-
high on in the NFL, but
I don't
Well-
think he was given the opportunity that he should have gotten at Georgia, but I'm also not high on him in the
see,
league.
I disagree with that.
I think
I think
Delp,
he had plenty of opportunity.
I don't know about that. I think Delp played basically majority of the snaps at tight end at the beginning of the season for Georgia.
Georgia is
And then
not
you
a
started to
school
see
for
Lawson
skill
Lucky.
position players.
You started to see
Unless-
Lawson Lucky a lot more.
Yeah.
Oscar Delp is gonna be a good tight end, and in next year's draft, when you see Lawson Lucky come out of Georgia, Lawson Lucky is just gonna be a little bit better. Oscar Delp straight up towards the end of the season just got his spot like jugged because like the tight end below him might have been a top 10 tight end in the country as well.
Yeah.
like it was crazy. Y'all need to watch
I
some
don't love
Lawson
his
Lucky
series,
when you
though.
get home.
Bro, if you
I
don't,
know who
if you
Lawson
want to
Lucky
make
is.
the league and you want to go to Georgia, don't commit unless you play D line or running back.
But that's not true. They have so many skill position players. More so for me,
would say their
I'm
tight
just-
ends are very
I
solid.
feel like his
Because
production
corner,
wasn't there
corner, they- bro,
specifically, though.
Georgia produces corners. Linebackers are still like big skills. Basically, skill is anything that isn't on the line.
I still
To me,
consider
that's what-
linebacker D line, bro. Like even if you're off ball linebacker, I consider you D line.
to the
Nah.
front seven.
Nah, I mean, if you're a part of the
Front seven. That's a better.
but, like,
That's a better way of wording it. Front
That's-
seven.
that's
If
fair.
you're like a Mike linebacker, I still consider you like a big skill. Like you're
a skill.
Yeah, because you're
position.
guarding in
You're,
space.
you're still picking
Yeah.
up tight ends, and sometimes
just because you
Like,
have
they
to
also
cover,
got
like,
Bryce
for an
because you have to
example-
cover 30%
For
of the
an
time.
example, a Mike linebacker
Okay,
plays
well-
7-on-7 football. 7-on-7
Yeah.
football. When you take the pads off, you take the lineman off the field.
that's all you're taking is the
a Mike
lineman.
linebacker is still out there playing 7-on-7.
Yeah.
So 7-on-7 is technically supposed to be like the skill guys.
The Saints got Bryce Lance also. Probably my favorite.
No, I
player
think
in
that
the
was a
draft.
good. I think that was a good
was a
pick.
good pick.
And then I think Lorenzo Styles is a good pick as well. Not really too much of a coverage safety, but like he's kind of like an old-fashioned like run support guy. I think that could actually have value in today's league, especially with all these like versatile safeties doing well. He'd play like basically an in-the-box linebacker role. And they got Barryon Brown in the 6. Just extreme speed, like track
level
runner speed.
They got multiple guys like that.
Barryon
That's
Brown
pretty good.
is.
They do.
Oh yeah, no, the Saints have speed.
That's a fast team.
But adding Barryon Brown and like the fact that he's from Louisiana.
It's very
Yeah,
nice.
I think that's cool. Another team in my winners is the Bengals. Honestly, they pick up Cassius Howe, who I think he was popping up on tape, honestly, a lot last season too. He played with Shamar Stewart, Shamar Turner. He played with those guys too, if I'm not mistaken. So I think not bad. Who else? Oh, they picked up Takario Davis, which is good because they need
They got
corner help.
corner, too.
Yes, they picked up
Colby
Takario.
Young. You're right. This is pretty underrated.
Yes, and then they got one of the best value pickups in the draft.
Come
They got
on.
Connor Liu in the 4th round.
Hometown hero.
Great value.
I mean, me and Austin, we know. We went to school with Connor. Shout out to Connor Liu.
Yeah.
I think, they don't need to rush him from his injury too much, but give him some. I don't even think he needs that much time. If he's there healthy in camp, he can win the starting job. And he was probably the best pass protector out of all the centers in the draft.
I'd say so.
Out of the
Yes,
true
yes.
centers, at least. If you have a guard that transitions, that's
'Cause
different.
Just
but-
look at his build. He's not really as like sloppy of a weight as some of the other linemen. Like he really is like he's one of the most lean linemen I've ever seen. Like he doesn't. I don't even know if he weighs 300 pounds yet. Like it's hard for him to because he's so lean. He doesn't really put on bad weight.
No.
He doesn't look like a lineman, but like he is one.
Yeah,
he's really that
He
big.
is one.
that was a really good. They had a really good draft in my opinion. Shout out to Connor Liu. We're obviously all rooting for you. Get healthy. I think that was
Young
an
is a
amazing
great
pickup. Yeah, Colby Young is a
Colby
good
Young
pickup
just
too.
was underutilized in this offense with Gunnar Stockton. That's just the truth. And he battled injuries as well. He wasn't always on the field, but it was like a screen RPO offense. Gunnar Stockton really.
Yeah, Branch also had some weird productivity. We'll get into Branch, I'm sure, in a second. But overall, in terms of just a good pick, during our little pre-pod,
Davis,
during our
too.
practice pod, I was talking about a nauseating amount about how I love Dylan Thieneman and how he was going to be a top 20, potential top 14 pick. He fell to 25 to the Bears, and I was geeking. I wish that footage was out, but it's just for us. And I was super excited.
I'll
That's an
compliment
amazing
your team right now.
amazing
I like
thing.
I like the
how they
Malik
did.
Muhammad pick.
Yes,
Yeah.
Malik Muhammad
That's
also
probably
in the
my
4th
favorite
round.
pick they have. I don't know how I like the rest of the Bears board. And I think Tiananmen's probably their second best pick. And you already know, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Tiananmen. So for me to say that.
Overall, I think the Bears had a good draft. Now, they didn't address their biggest need, which is probably D tackle in terms of just like rush defense. But I love the Bears draft because they didn't necessarily reach on guys. I would have loved for them to potentially acquire like a bigger nose tackle, but this also wasn't my favorite nose tackle class or just defensive tackle class in general. But I think they got a center that could potentially start from day one in Logan Jones from Iowa. They just pump out O lineman. He's actually the exact same as I can't remember his name right now, but the Ravens center that just got paid by the Raiders. If you can look.
Linderbaum?
Yes, Tyler Linderbaum. They were both D tackles from Iowa that transferred to center. They have almost the exact same build. He's a clone of Linderbaum, essentially. So you got that in the 2nd round. My biggest gripe was Sam Roush picking a tight end. I didn't think they need to go tight end that early, but if you look at it, there was a lot of tight ends that went early off the board. which hints into one of my draft losers, actually, which is Jacksonville. And I overall just didn't love Jacksonville's draft. They didn't have that many picks, but they picked up the tight end from
arguably the worst draft.
Brockner, but I don't even know how to say his name. From Texas A&M, Borgachor. That's how you say it. Nate Borgachor. He's not really that good, to be honest. He's a good blocker, but I think he was like the first out of those kind of clumps. They didn't do really much. They need help defensively. They might be trading Brian Thomas Jr., so we'll see about that.
It's going to be hard to make an impact in the draft when your first pick is at 56. But I overall just didn't like the value or the players they took. There are a lot of players, I mean, at 81, 88, 100 that I feel like would have been better than Albert Regis. Like
They had to do a lot of waiting.
I've seen 2 plays for him, probably. I don't know who Emmanuel Pregnon is.
Pregnon? No, that's a decent little pick. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. He's a guard, right? Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oregon,
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna be good. That was the one pick that I thought, okay, that can be fine, but who knows if he starts? He might, but
probably not. He's probably a year 2 guy.
Yeah, that's one of those. Anybody have a draft loser? Like a team that didn't
have any that come to mind.
I don't think it's like
every draft. I kind of every draft just focus on the
winners.
That's
there wasn't a whole lot of losers in my opinion
It's not
this year.
really
I agree.
Losing situation, but I still don't like Arizona's pick.
I was gonna get into that.
I was gonna say the same
we
thing.
can talk about it.
So it's not that I don't like it, or I just don't love it. So if we're giving it a grade, I go C. Like a very mediocre draft. I wouldn't say it stood out. Taking Jeremiah Love is, I love Jeremiah Love. On that pre-podcast we were talking about, that was my guy that I talked about. Every America's running back. You know what I mean? Coming out of the coming into the draft. But I don't know. Like I just don't really see any big picks right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They picked up Carson Beck, but we're all kind of iffy about that. Caleb Proctor, I didn't hate, but I just don't really love any of these picks.
I feel like the problem that I have with, ordinarily I'm always a best player available type of guy when it comes to the draft. Like I generally think that you build Jimmys and Joes over X's and O's for most positions.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for a team that has so many needs, you don't have a solidified guy on the defensive side of the ball. You had Arvil Reese and David Bailey both right there to take. You had Caleb Downs right there to take. Or sorry, not David Bailey.
Arvell Reese.
Sonny Styles.
Arvil Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. Like you had dudes that you don't have a guy on that defense right now. And you have a running back room where you have James Conner, Grant Steve's coming off for injury. You just signed Tyler Algier. You just re-signed, what's dude's name? He's Bam Knight, something like that.
Oh, you're talking about the other running back. He's just a depth guy.
I know, but I mean, you got right now. You have 4 running backs signed on your roster right now. And in a draft where you don't have a solidified edge, you don't have a solidified corner, you don't have a solidified safety.
I don't care who it is. I'm not taking any running back.
You don't have a solidified quarterback. I mean, Saquon Barkley went at 2, and look what he's become. But
it wasn't to the Giants though, which is the thing is. If you're, this is my whole gripe is that I don't think they were ready for a pick.
They weren't ready for a Jeremiah Love.
No,
so they needed to pick up.
Saquon didn't help them win, but Saquon was still extremely productive with the Giants.
Sure, in my opinion, what's the point of picking someone up if you're not going to win with them?
This is a good conversation.
Hopefully, you think that organizationally you'll build around them a little bit better, but they haven't. They didn't. That's
kind of my
point.
They
basically put themselves in the same position. That's why I'm agreeing. I don't like the pick for that reason. Yeah. Ordinarily, if you went to a bad team with a quarterback, at least if Jeremiah Love went to the Titans, I'd like that pick a little bit more. Even they're not a good team. They have way more positions of need, but at least they have a quarterback and some semblance of a defense right now.
Sure. Robert Saleh also, he's going to have a good floor with the defense. My biggest gripe is that running back is that early is a luxury pick, and I don't think they necessarily could afford picking a running back that early. It is heavily reported that they were trying to move back in the draft. We know that they have moved back in the draft before. In the past, 5 years, they've kind of been known to trade back when they've been really bad. I get best player available. It doesn't really make sense because if you fully utilize him to his max potential, there was, in my opinion, it just doesn't really make sense because if he gets hurt on a year where you have no O-line, no quarterback, it doesn't really make sense. So now you have to split carries. Yeah, now you're splitting carries between Algier, James Conner when he comes back, DeMarcado if he makes the team.
They might trade one of them, Connor.
Yeah, Connor has no value.
They
he just tore his knee up.
Connor's value is not good. They just re-signed Bam Knight. He has zero trade value. James Conner's coming off that injury, and Algier you just signed. So why the fuck would you sign him just to trade him again? It was just dumb.
I do like the Chase Besantis pick.
You have 4 guys in your running back room, and 3 of them are starters.
It was like the Browns QB room last year.
Yeah, I do like Chase Besantis. I don't like so they picked up Carson Beck. I don't like the mindset I feel like they put themselves in where they didn't go after Malik Willis and they kind of just told themselves
Trey Benson, bro. That's who I was thinking of. They have Trey Benson, Bam Knight, James Conner, and Tyler
DeMarcado is also another running back.
So they have 6 running backs on their roster, bro.
Yeah.
And 4 of them arguably are starters in this league. I get that's just not where you want to put your resources when it comes to team building.
Yeah, 4 of them are going to touch the
also,
ball.
if you break down the contracts, so Saquon had the highest contract in the NFL for a running back. With Jeremiah Love taking that high, he is owed, I think it's $30 million more in guaranteed money than Saquon. So he's by far has the biggest contract of any running back, and he hasn't played a snap. Obviously, it's not
he's never touched
his fault. You know, it's just more so that they put themselves in that situation. They didn't necessarily address O-line in free agency as much as you thought. They go Chase Besantis, but then their lack of picking up a quarterback in free agency kind of put them in a situation where they felt like they needed to draft Beck. And I'm not high on Beck. Obviously, after he hurt his elbow in the playoffs, he didn't look the same for Miami at all. I don't think he's that good, to be honest. I also don't think you had to pick him in the 3rd round. And even if he slips, he's not a good enough prospect where you're like, you're shaking your head like, damn, we missed out on a guy. Like, you can potentially take a flyer on Garrett Nussmeier, on a Taylor Green, on another quarterback
Diego
prospect.
Pavia or whatever his name is, who just went undrafted.
Yeah,
now be a US.
That's not even who I wouldn't go for that either. But my
watch
thing
him
is
be the best quarterback from his class.
Nah, fuck no. He's 5'8".
Yeah.
But anyways,
5'10". I think it was.
It's just
he
not my
dog
favorite.
in him though.
Not my favorite.
No, the best quarterback
Heisman
class will
finalist.
still be Mendoza.
Yeah, but you know how many? I mean, there's been plenty of Heisman finalists that.
I actually don't know. As much as I love Mendoza, the Raiders ruin everything good. So it's like they might just destroy dudes.
That's true, but I think
Tom Brady.
I don't know how much to blame he will be for their losing. So.
But it doesn't matter if he doesn't play good. Even if they lose and he doesn't play good, it's still gonna be bad for his career. I don't know. I hope not. I love the dude. I love the dude's character, and I love his play style as well. And I hope that Tom Brady can come in there, even as a minority owner. He doesn't have too much say in what's going on operationally. I hope they would listen to him a little bit more than they listen to other people.
They won't do it publicly,
yeah.
But behind the scenes, I think Tom Brady will help out Mendoza, kind of lowbrow him.
Any other draft losers before I get to another one of my guys?
Not really a draft loser. I just don't know how I feel about the pick in general. Carnell Tate at 4 to Tennessee.
They just drafted a true X receiver.
I love it.
I didn't love it. I feel like it's a little high for Carnell Tate, if we're being for real. I don't think any of us expected them to come in and
beggars
swap.
can't be choosers though, and for Cam Ward, that's
the highest I've ever seen any receiver to go. But he's a very good receiver too. I don't know. I want to say whoever.
He's not a receiver 2 in the league though.
I think that's
Justin
very well
Jefferson
possible.
was a receiver too at LSU.
That's
But that's behind
completely-
Jamar
I think-
Chase.
I
though.
think it
That's
depends.
not fair.
But I'm saying Carnell Tate was not a true receiver too.
Okay,
Like,
with Carnell Tate, it depends on the team. Still.
he can run any route. He's a prototypical X receiver. Like
Yeah, he's not really going to move inside to the slot at all. He's really going to be a guy that just very stationary outside, and he's going to win. I like Carnell Tate. I did think that 4 was a little high, but you can't really be mad at the Titans for getting Cam Ward a weapon. At the end of the day,
He's also a savvy player.
I'm
He's
not
a
mad
smart
at the
player,
pick.
like-
it was just a surprising pick. That's
I think
all
they
gotta
wanted
say.
Jeremiah Love.
I think they wanted Love too.
They wanted Jeremiah
they
Love
kinda got a
probably really
little-
bad.
A little dicey in there, and
I
Yeah.
feel like you can't hurt bringing in a top receiver prospect for any year for a young quarterback, especially a quarterback who had a decent enough season given the shit show around him last year.
I mean, I don't hate the pick. Just surprising. You know what I mean? Same thing with Jeremiah Love. I don't hate it. Just surprising.
I can get into one of my losers too. It's not necessarily that I think the player is going to be bad. Just I don't love the fit with the
fit.
quarterback. Is Mekhi Lemon? I am a huge Mekhi Lemon fan. I think he's probably my favorite. He's one of my favorite receivers in the class. I just don't think it's a good fit with Jalen Hurts. Even if they trade AJ and now there's a lot more target
More than
share.
likely what's going to happen?
Mekhi Lemon is a in rhythm slot timing receiver that you need to like. He's not a guy that Jalen Hurts is just not that type of quarterback that's ripping the ball as soon as he hits the back of his drop. It's very known that throughout the different offensive coordinators that they've had, it's a lot of hitches, go balls, drag routes, and he's a little bit. I don't think Mekhi Lemon's a great fit in that offense with Jalen Hurts at quarterback, and I love Hurts. He just has to improve his play. He's kind of just been slipping since 2022, where he had an amazing season from the pocket, running the ball as well. It's just I don't love the fit with Mekhi Lemon. I do think he's a gritty run blocker, so it's going to help him. He's going to play with Saquon and everything like that as they're going to try and get that run game back. It's not my favorite fit overall, and I love Mekhi Lemon. The interesting story, too, about that pick is that he had just gotten off the phone with Pittsburgh, basically just them announcing they were going to pick him with the 21st pick in the draft, I think. And Howie Roseman, great intel to know that they were going to pick him, trades ahead to pick 20, and they select Mekhi Lemon. That draft, that video of his agent running up to him and asking, Philly's calling right now, Philly just traded for you. Like, that's a great story and everything.
Yeah.
I just personally, I don't love the fit with Jalen Hurts. They are having also a first-time play caller with their new OC. He was the quarterback coach at Green Bay. So it's just he's a guy you want to build the offense kind of around him and Smitty, but I don't know if they're going to do that, to be honest.
Don't hate it as much as you do. I think more than likely what they're going to do is going to get A.J. Brown out of there, which is a whole other story.
Yeah.
But I don't really dislike it. I think you need more of a physical running back, a kind of gritty guy like Mekhi Lemon who is willing to go ahead and put that run block down. When you're losing AJ Brown, you have Smitty as your wide receiver 1 now. I think if they are looking to trade AJ Brown, I don't think it's a terrible pick right there. But
It gave them luxury. Like, if
Yeah.
they want to trade AJ, that's fine. I just don't love the fit. That's all.
I mean, I don't know. I think it really depends on how this new OC does. Obviously, hopefully it's nothing like that last offensive coordinator they had. Kind of why they didn't get as far as they should have last year. But, we'll see.
Yeah. Does anybody else has any guys that necessarily fell? I think before we get into the biggest surprise of the draft, I want to go also Deni Denison. He was kind of a guy that was going to be in the clumps with the Derek Moores and the Gabe Actises of the world, and he slipped to the 4th round to Green Bay. Fuck Green Bay, but he's very great athlete. Obviously from Penn State, you don't necessarily draft the helmet, but it is important in my opinion to add that. It was a big surprise. But the biggest surprise of the night was Ty Simpson going to the Rams. The Rams passing on Ruben Bain. They did not want to opt for waves of pass rush and everything. They chose to draft Ty Simpson. And I just want to know your thoughts, honestly. It started off with Will. I know you were pretty adamant on it before we started recording.
I love the pick for the player, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily love the player for the team. Like, I feel like Ty Simpson going to the Rams, he's going to be mentored by Matt Stafford. He's going to be coached by Sean McVay. I feel like that is the best, quarterback head coach duo to be brought up under. That being said, I feel like the Rams are in a position right now, coming off a playoff run and coming off Matt Stafford being Super Bowl MVP, where they're in a win now mode, and they could have possibly taken players at 13 that would be able to affect them now, which Ty Simpson is an investment for maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. And shit, maybe 1 year down the line, we don't know how much longer Matt Stafford wants to do this for real, take those hits. Dude could retire right now and he'd still be, a Hall of Famer, so it doesn't matter. But I think it'll work out for them, just understanding the organization and the pedigree of both Sean McVay and Les Snead, and how they operate, how they find people and bring them in, and overall how they coach them up. But I feel like if I were Les Snead, I would want somebody who could impact my playoff odds directly next year. Not necessarily somebody who's going to be sitting. But I do like the player, and I like the placement for the player.
I'll say I thought the Rams were in win now mode. You know what I mean? For getting pretty deep in the playoffs last year. You would think, all right, let's attack what we need. Let's see what we have to go get. They could have picked up another weapon for Stafford, or go out and find something on the defense, but they chose Ty Simpson. I don't really love the pick. I think it's a little early. It's definitely, I'll say Ty Simpson is absolutely, it's not a diss against Ty Simpson at all. Definitely the second best quarterback in the class. I just don't really love the team fit. I think you have an established QB1. I mean, reigning MVP. You have Stetson Bennett on the backup. I'm not saying he's someone who's going to go out and win you games, but
he won't. He won't for more than 4 or 5 games in a stretch. In the league,
I mean, he won't. But I mean that you have a backup. And if you're in win now mode, why draft another backup? You know what I mean? You're right now you're drafting for the future, and that's something you could have done in round 2, 3. But you have a number 13 pick, and you pick up a backup quarterback.
13 is high for him.
Yeah. My biggest gripe with everything is the fact that in an ideal world, if the season goes great for the Rams, Ty Simpson plays 0 snaps. In an ideal world, if their season goes like how they want, he plays 0 snaps. Another thing to take into account is the value of pick 13 passing on Ruben Bain. And if you think about it, like, he sat for 3 years at Alabama, and now he hasn't played a full season since his senior year of high school and his last year that he played in Alabama. Now you're asking him to sit for another year, maybe 2. This is a whole lot of sitting and development for a guy. Like, in reality, there's not a whole lot of tape to go off of. Like, he had good moments, and there was problems with Alabama's offense with the running game and everything like that. But it's just odd because this is a perfect system to go to. You have weapons, you have a solid O-line, play caller, a good GM. It's just, to me, it doesn't really make sense because
it's a great system for him. Absolutely. It's not a great bless you. It's not what the Rams should have done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Ruben Bain on that pass rush would have been nasty.
Would have been beautiful.
If Matthew Stafford retires at the end of this year, and then
that's not
Ty Simpson,
though.
It might.
I don't think so. I mean, he just won MVP. I don't see him retiring a year after he wins MVP.
I have no clue
into,
anymore.
right off into the sunset. That'd be the best. What Rams win the Super Bowl this year, he just retires. That'd be the best possible scenario.
If he wins the Super
I think
Bowl,
that they're preparing for that, which is
fine.
for
They're
Stafford
trying to make
retire.
a run this year, and they're preparing for Stafford to retire.
I think it's go all in.
There's no
I
way
hate
Stafford-
the 1 foot in, 1 foot out,
It's not-
all
and it
in.
never
But
makes
we're
you
looking
win.
for
That's
the
also
future.
something that
I don't
hate.
like that shit.
Everybody thinks that you have to draft a quarterback to start now. What you want is to have your guys sit behind a dude, a guy for 2 years, build confidence, going against practice squad still NFL players on the defense, but practice squad defenses, even sometimes starting against the regular defense. You want him to build confidence in himself and be able to learn behind somebody who's done it for a long
So
time.
what you're
and done
telling
it
me
well.
is, in 3 years, you see the Rams franchise QB being Ty Simpson.
What I'm saying is right now that's what Sean McVay and Les Snead are saying. And
I don't think Sean McVay was saying that.
But
if you see the
literally
interview,
he said it in a
looks-
call. He said it in an interview talking about that interview. He said in 2-3 years when Matt decides to ride off into the sunset. It was with Colin Cowherd 3 days ago. When he said when Matt decides to ride off into the sunset. Sorry. That it'll be Ty's team to take over and be able to show and so I do feel like they're drafting him as Matt's replacement, and that's why they drafted him so early.
Oh, absolutely.
And if it works, then it won't. Nobody will say anything at all. If Ty Simpson comes in there and balls out in his first year starting, then him being drafted at 13 will be seen as a steal,
I don't
and nobody
think
will
so.
say anything.
I don't think so, because why would? Because
If you find your franchise quarterback that helps you win, you don't think at 13 that's not a steal?
not when you're in win now mode.
Who cares if they draft somebody at 13 and they win this year?
Well, they're not going to win this year because they drive types. I'm saying
They're not going to win this
go-
year because they drafted Ty Simpson. They're coming off a playoff run. They've
you
lost
didn't add
nobody.
anything.
I think.
What do you
I think
have to add if you're already?
You can take the success that you had in this year for granted, where now everybody's at the bottom. It's so easy to say, look at our roster, look at X, Y, and Z, look at this. But the reality is you're going to play different teams. The rosters are different. The coaching staffs are different. Ideally, yes, they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl, I think. However, I would just do as much as you can. I do not like
Secure
the
it.
1 foot in, 1 foot out. We're trying to win this year, go all in, but we're drafting a quarterback for the future.
This is a
in the
weird
first
year.
round. They had another
their
pick.
first
The
pick-
thing-
I agree with that.
the
Like
thing
they did
is-
not need to draft Ty Simpson.
not at 13.
That
That's
being
all
said-
my
That's the thing
point
is
is.
at
But what I'm-
13
what
to
I'm
pass
saying-
on Ruben Bain is that's
It's
not
crazy.
That's
if
not
it
a smart
works
decision.
out, if Ty Simpson works out and becomes a franchise quarterback versus Ruben Bain works out and becomes a franchise pass rusher, bro. Ty Simpson would be the better pick at 13 all day, every day. So if it works
I
out, nobody
disagree.
will be able to
Okay,
say.
well, let me ask you this: if Ty Simpson works out, you won't know for 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
If Ruben Bain works out, it is easily you can see the
You're
progress.
gonna know after year one.
and you would more than likely have a Super Bowl ring with that. So you would have.
I'd
Super Bowl
argue
ring
that you'd-
with a franchise D tackle.
You already have
versus
two
a
very
franchise
good-
quarterback.
very
You
good
won't
starting
know until
edges this year.
your Hall of Fame quarterback moves out. And we don't even know if it's going to be 2 years. It could be 4 years.
How many rings have the Browns won with Myles Garrett at edge? How many
Well,
rings
that's
have the
not my
Cowboys?
point.
They
They're
didn't
not in
have
win
a
now
roster
mode.
as good
They're
as
not in
this,
win
though.
now mode.
They already like the Rams don't need edge help at all.
They can. My thing is, you can never have too much of a pass rush.
Why would you
can
want?
never
Why
have
would
too
you want
much.
Jared Verse off the field? Like
I'm not saying
Braden
it's-
Fisk is the other edge rusher too. My thing is
Byron Young.
Byron Young. Imagine a rotation with Byron Young, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, and
Kobe Young.
okay, Kobe Young and Ruben Bain. Also, Ruben Bain is not just only gonna play edge. He can NASCAR packages, pass rush packages, play in the interior. He could play in the interior on regular downs. It's not going to be his ideal role, but I guarantee you the Bucks, you're going to see it. You're going to see them twice a year as a Falcons fan. You're going to see him play on the interior as well.
Buns.
So he's going to move around. He's
I
a
don't
very
think Ruben Bain
versatile
will be
chess
as
piece.
good as what he was projected to be, and it's not just because he went to the Bucks. Like
I disagree.
See, Ruben Bain is going to be a great
I
player.
think he's going to be
it's
better
just-
than he was projected to be.
I think that him sliding is obviously that's just all off of measurables that were at the combine.
Yeah,
his
his
tape
arms.
shows you that he's a great player, that he can do pretty much everything on
What
the
you ask him
D
to
line.
do.
He has NFL pass rushing move. He has counters. You can
he's
see it.
He's a great pressure guy. He's a great pressure guy.
He's a great sack guy. He's a great run defender. He's probably the most complete edge rusher. It's just things project differently in the NFL. So you draft a David Bailey who's a speed rusher who has all these pressures and these sacks and everything. So you go over that, or the Arvell Reeses who have the versatility at the position to play linebacker, things like that. But if you want to lock in just a pure edge, Ruben Bain was my favorite edge. And passing on him to draft a quarterback that you had another second round pick. Does he get there? Does he not? That's a different conversation, but I would bank on the instant impact right away. And you can either move other picks in the future. You could do whatever you got to do to.
Ruben Ben will be a great player. I don't think that he'll be I don't think he'll be a top 3 edge from this class.
So
he's not a top 3 edge from this class.
I don't think his career will work out in that way, is what I'm saying.
I think he would absolutely be a top 3 pick from this class.
My thing is, what 3 edges are you going to take that as?
There's always one of those 3rd through 5th, 6th round guys, like Kobe Young, something like that turn out to be, pop up there. But I think David Bailey, Arvell Reese are both better. He reminds me a lot of Latu, who's not a bad professional player. But he was
a completely different comp.
They're different builds, but they're both very technical rushers who had great pressure rates in college. I think his transfers to the league, is that on?
No, it died. It died. We're still recording the audio though.
But I feel like the transfer to the league, he'll have some help being next to big old Vita Vea, standing next to him and him being doubled every play. But I don't know. We'll see. That's my opinion,
thing. Though. But my thing with the Rams pick isn't that they had to go and get. They didn't have to go get Ruben Bain. My thing is they had more options than to have a foot in and a foot out. I'm not a big guy. I'm not big on drafting a running back for the Rams right now. But they could have gotten,
they could have had Jadarian Price.
They could have gotten a slot.
Is it a foot in, foot out if you have a top 7 roster in the league? You're coming off of playoffs.
Yes.
And it's really not, though.
I think that's exactly what a foot.
This used to be the norm.
With the value,
quarterback development used to be the norm within the league, and now people are just expected to be bad and then instantly draft a quarterback the next year.
But they're not bad.
I'm not hating
exactly,
on
but people want the team to get bad in order for them to draft a quarterback. Nobody cares. Like if you draft a quarterback when you're not bad, people think see that as a reach, or you're half in, half out.
No,
when you're just setting yourself up for continued success, so that you don't never have to have a bad season. If you have a dude who's mentored by Matt Stafford and Sean McVay, as soon as Matt Stafford retires, you already have a team built around him, so we can automatically step in. He's got the chemistry with the receivers. He's got the relationship in the locker room. Like that's what team building used to be. Like developing quarterbacks used to be a 2 to 3 year long process.
I just think that Ty's not yes, he's the second best quarterback in this class. If you put him in the class with Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, he's not going in the first round. He's not going over Bo Nix.
For sure.
He's not going. He got picked that high because the quarterback class is ass. Let's just keep it a buck. Besides Mendoza, there's not really any good quarterbacks in this class.
It's Mendoza, and then you drop down to Ty Simpson, and you drop even further. So my thing is, Ty Simpson is a second round guy. If I'm being completely real, I'd pick Ty Simpson in the second round. Am I saying the Rams could have gotten him in the second? Probably not. But why would you go Ty Simpson first pick, 13th overall pick? That's very, very high for a second round guy. They could have traded back.
You did that with a luxury pick that wasn't your own. You got that from the Falcons. So in theory, you're like, oh, that wasn't even our pick, so we can kind of do whatever we want with it. But I mean, we can just.
You got to think risk to reward. If you're a team and you're planning out a year, 2 years in advance, with most of these teams are doing, they're looking at prospects from
that'd be the biggest risk.
They're looking at but no, there's no risk. It's not your pick.
That's a huge risk.
But it is. You're still picking
overall pick. A 13th overall pick quarterback that you don't know is going to pan out in a win now situation.
You don't know if anybody's going to pan out.
Okay,
Fernando Mendoza might not pan out.
Okay, I agree. But a quarterback that might not pan out as a 13th overall pick in a position that you don't need in win now mode is not a high enough reward for the risk you're taking.
I mean,
you don't know
what
if you're
position do
Super
they
Bowl.
critically need right now, though?
I'm not saying they.
But I mean, like, where else would they have?
You can
My thing
always
is,
use more pass
the
rushing
only-
help.
you
You
can
can
always use
draft
more-
another receiver.
The only thing
They had
running back.
Devontae Adams and
huge-
Puka.
Tay is older. He had injuries last
It's
season.
a
Devontae
slot
Adams,
guy.
bro.
He's still gonna get. Bro, he still was banged up last year.
The only thing that I said their biggest need going into this draft before they made the trade was cornerback, and they made that trade for Trent McDuffie. Like,
Yes, and the McDuffie move was great. They also brought in other moves. That thing is, there's
I would have loved for Caleb Downs to fall to them. That would have made
bro.
them
They could have
disgusting.
picked
But
up
was
Dylan
never gonna
Thieneman and had
I mean,
an
he fell
insane
to
safety
11,
trio.
so they're 2 picks away. If they're gonna trade up
weren't
anyways, you
gonna
might as well have
pick
traded up
Thieneman
for fucking
anyways.
Caleb. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
But-
this is all good conversation, and we're about to have to wrap up because of the gigabyte size and everything like that. But overall, I think this
It's
was
too
just a
big.
fun draft and everything like that. I'm very pleased with how everything went, but, you know, overall, I look forward to this season. Obviously, we're about to get into a kind of weird point in the NFL where there's not much going on. However, we're going to still find things to talk about. We're going to
And
do off-season tier lists, teams we're high
toss
on,
in-
everything like that.
toss in
We'll
some
talk
content.
ball. Exactly. We'll still get
We
some
still
good
got to talk
NFL
about
content
the
out there.
verbal.
it's funny how like 75% of our draft takes will not pan out at all. Like,
for sure.
and I love that about the draft. Like, you never know. It'll be the most random names, dudes you had.
Max
fucking
Crosby was one of those guys.
Dudes you had 120th on your fucking big board, and they're going to turn out to be the top 5 player in this draft. So
You'll get
it's-
a Tom Brady.
yeah. But every year there's always players like that, but I love that about the league. Development and coaching is important. Like, where you're put and your support system are very important. But
Yes. But we want to thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode of the Primetime Media Podcast.
Hell yeah.
Thank you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Make as many accounts on YouTube as you can. Please support us.
Let your mama know. Let your daddy know. Let your grandmama know. Let
on
her
bro.
cat know. Everyone got to
If
know.
you've been
Your
listening
aunties,
for half an
grandmas,
hour-
nephews, cousins, neighbor, everybody know. They got to know. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for coming in. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.
Peace.